So I guess those are the main updates, that I've quit my job, started a new job, and moving to a new job. Hey future and fellow OTs, I'm Thalia and I'm a new grad occupational therapist. So today I thought I might try and explain what's been going on the past few months. Yep. So let's jump into it. I actually resigned from my first job. So my first job, I was working in a private practice, predominantly working in pediatrics. And so I actually resigned from that position in about, how long ago? 2 months ago. Okay, so today's kind of a day. I'm sick and I'm preparing to resign from my current position today. Never thought I'd say that sentence out loud or at all, but here we are. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. And obviously that's a bit, just a little bit stressful. Having conversation, I've drafted my letter, booked in the meeting time. So I'm gonna give, you know, I don't know if I should say, I don't know if I'm gonna use this footage at all. And I've kind of wanted to vlog and talk about what I've been going through. It's my washing machine if you can hear it. What I've been going through the past few weeks. But then like what I was going through meant that I was like, I have no energy to do that. Yeah, it's been a lot. Some days have been not good, not very good, and some days have been good. Usually the weekends or times spent with friends or my sessions themselves, I'm still feeling happy most of the time in the sessions. It's nothing to do with my clients or anything like that. I still enjoy and love working with them and seeing them progress and everything like that. But I've decided that this is a step I need to take in order to look after my health, my mental health, how I'm going, and also considering, you know, how I can be the best OT I can be and the clinician I want to be, and what environment and what workplace might support that best. So I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, a lot of people I see as mentors in my life. Oh my goodness, my accent is just coming out. So I've had a lot of conversations with people in my life and people I consider mentors, friends, my family, so other clinicians, and this is kind of the decision I've come to, and it's not an easy decision to make. This would be my first job, my first time resigning from anything where they probably didn't see it coming. So of course, when I worked my part-time job at uni, they were expecting me to resign at the end because I'd gotten my first full-time job as an OT rather than coaching. And so that was just a very nice exchange of good luck, thank you so much for all your work, blah blah blah. So that was a nice thing. There's going to be a little bit different because I don't think, well, I didn't really know that this was going to happen 2 weeks ago, so I don't know how they could have seen it coming, maybe. I don't know. But I think I just need to have the conversation and tell them, and then hopefully some of this weight I feel like I've been carrying around will be off my shoulders. I don't know. I hope so. I really hope so. That's where I am, and I'm sick. I'm feeling a little bit better. I was feeling a little bit like death this morning, but up and about doing some work. I'm about to go grocery shopping. Adult life. I actually like grocery shopping, apart from the spending money part. But lists, I love lists. So I don't know how much I should or could be telling you right now, but I do have another offer for a position in a completely different setting, and that would be starting in July. So that's not been confirmed yet, so that's kind of why it's been a little bit difficult announcing my resignation or leaving, giving my notice, because it hasn't been confirmed and I've put it off for a week, and it still hasn't been confirmed. So hopefully future me it has been confirmed and we're not unemployed. But if that happens, that kind of happens, and I've thought about that. But I've decided, and I've let them know that I'm going to let them know today. I know this position hasn't been confirmed, but I've decided what's right for me at this point in time. I need to let them know in order to give them 4 weeks notice. I don't think, because I'm still on my probation, that I need to legally give them 4 weeks notice, but that just to me seems like the right thing to do in order for me to have enough time for handovers for as many clients as I can, and try and work out where my clients are going to go in different people's schedules, and if they need to hire another OT to kind of cover my caseload. So all those things, messy things, I'm not looking forward to that. I had PD on a lighter note on Friday, which was really lovely. It was sensory approaches in practice, and it was 3 OTs talking about sensory processing and sensory modulation in practice, and going through the senses, covering that theory stuff, and then we had case studies and we're able to put it more into practice. So I found that really valuable, and I'll be presenting and passing on all the information to my colleagues at my current practice. And I'm half leaning and then half leaning on a chair. That didn't make sense, but it's not a stable position, and I'm out of breath. It's also three weeks from my production, so long rehearsal Monday, Wednesday, Sundays, Thursdays orchestra, Tuesdays Auslan. Auslan is going really well. I'm loving it. It's honestly so great, and I think we really have 2 more weeks left of that, and then it's production week, so I think we have run-throughs basically every night, and it's just hard fitting in lots of things right now, but otherwise I'm going okay. That's kind of the update. I appreciate you guys watching and sticking around. Talk to you later. So I did it. I resigned, and I feel so much better. It's like a big weight off my shoulders, and it went much better than I thought. They were really understanding and really supportive, and honestly actually was a nice experience. And I mean, okay, no, it wasn't a nice experience, but it was a lot more pleasant than I thought it could go. And honestly, I just feel so good right now, because like kind of carrying that around for, it wasn't that long, like kind of carrying that around was kind of stressful. And I'm gonna go for a walk and enjoy the rest of my day. I have rehearsal at 6:30. It is 4:40 now, so I think I'll go for a walk, make some dinner, rehearse my lines, and then go to rehearsal, and then do this for a few more weeks, and then I guess a change of pace, change of clients, whole new adventure. Let's go. Yeah. So that was and so this is going to be a week in my life. I haven't been uploading, the guilt. I haven't been uploading in a while. I haven't uploaded in a while. I don't know how long it's been. A lot has changed. I've got a lot to do this week. That's okay. So this week is officially my last week at my current position. I put in my resignation a few weeks ago now, three weeks? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Today, 2 weeks ago. The detail you don't care about. Luckily, we have found a new OT to take over the majority of my caseload, because I do have a very large case. I do have a large caseload at the moment. So that was stressing me a little bit before we knew we had someone, as I was having to contact clients and be like, I'm
so sorry, we don't have anyone. Our team doesn't have the capacity at the moment to take on all of my clients. So some people might have to go on a waiting list, etc. And so I didn't enjoy those phone calls. But now it's, hey, I'm leaving, which is sad, but I have someone new who can start straight away. So that's good. But I do have a gazillion handover reports to write. So handover report is basically a report that I will be giving or writing for the treating clinician who's taking over a client. So things like family background, education background, conditions, medical history relevant to their presentation, current functioning, current functional status and performance, current goals and their progress, suggested future goals for therapy intervention, current little admin stuff like when are their sessions right now, where are they held if they're mobile, so out in the community like at their school daycare, or if they're in the clinic and then which clinic, and the frequency, are they fortnightly, weekly, monthly, 2 times a week, what have you, and any treating tips we can give them. They love, you know, don't even try bringing out this game, they will throw it in your face kind of thing. So those kinds of tips. So I have over 40 clients or something, so luckily I can do some in person, but I am trying to write the majority. That was a really good face, wasn't it? I'm trying to write the majority so it's just easier for the new clinician, because we can have so many case conferences in person, and especially in your first week it can be so hard to absorb all the information being thrown at you. So I do hope for the majority of them that I can write her a report so she can look back on it instead of trying to rely on our conversations during this week. So I have that. I have one more assessment report I need to do before I leave. So I had an assessment a week or so ago, so I need to finish off that report. I also have a job interview this week that I need to prepare for. Just when you think it's all done, there are more interviews. Yay. So that's the main thing. That's a beautiful angle. I feel like I try the same places every time and I'm just equally disappointed every time. That's not very good. Please come in my frame, cup. This week is also production week for my musical, so I have run-throughs and performances every night. So I think our first performance is Thursday night. Our first performance is Thursday night for like a select pre-media showing and for some kids, I think. And then our real shows are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I have a week off. And then if my contract comes through for my new position, I'll start the next week. So a lot to get done this week and very little time, very little sleep. Just is a lot, and I should be doing work right now. So I actually resigned from my first job and my last day was the end of June, and I started in a new position halfway through July. So I'm currently in that position working in adult mental health, but I'm actually moving in 2 weeks to start a new position in child and youth mental health. So there's been a lot happening. And so hopefully you can imagine how it's kind of been a little bit difficult for me to find time to film, to kind of get my head around what I can and want to film and things like that. But I'm hoping as I move and I start a new job and get settled into that, I'll have more of a structure and just time to kind of come back together and figure out what type of content I'm wanting to make. So I have planned out a few videos from your requests, which will be surrounding the types of things and the work that I personally did and that OTs can do within the space of pediatrics. So that's working with kids, including the types of goals or common presentations. So the typical things that parents, families, children might present with to us as OTs, and then the typical goals we would then work towards in sessions, and then perhaps explaining through how we might start to address some of these goals. So those are some videos that I'm planning to make based on your suggestions, so thank you. I know at least 3 of you have asked me to maybe go into more detail about that, because unfortunately I can't really take you in because unfortunately I can't take you in a session or show you confidential things and all these things. I know some people request that I take you into the room and show you, but it's confidential, it's someone else's privacy. I can't be filming sessions, so I'm showing you as much as I can, and so that's why a lot of this is me recounting my day or showing you some things when I can. A question I did get asked was, do you wear scrubs? So in Australia, as far as I know, in the settings I've worked in personally, we don't wear scrubs here as occupational therapists. Even working in the hospital setting, we may wear a uniform that might consist of a shirt, polo or button up, or maybe a vest that's branded with the department, OT department or the hospital. More in mental health, we don't usually wear a uniform, just to kind of reduce the barriers that already exist in mental health. And in pediatrics, in my first job in a private practice, we did have a shirt that we could wear. Otherwise it's just smart casual or professional, really depends on the setting you're in. But every day that I was vlogging at my job, what I was wearing was what I was wearing to work. So in the private practice I worked in, we did have the option of wearing a polo shirt that was like branded, that was the private practice's brand, like so the name and everything, or we had the option of just wearing, you know, professional clothes, like smart casual, professional, officey clothes. And then in mental health, it's a little different at the moment. We're wanting less, more casual, professional, and so I'm not wearing dresses or skirts or things like that at the moment, which I do miss, which I'm hoping I can get a bit more back into in my new job. But that's just the current setting and population that I'm currently working with. It's just kind of a different atmosphere and approach to how we work with people. So I guess those are the main updates, that I've quit my job, started a new job, and moving to a new job very quickly. It all happened very quickly, and I had no idea that this was all going to happen. If you asked me in June, I had no idea this was happening. So that means that I'm moving from my current town to another town, and so I just had someone from Flatmates come look through our house, and I'm hoping they want to move in, and I found a place where I'm moving to, and I need to move in there in 2 weeks. So it's just all that kind of stuff. So in my current job, just to give you a bit of an idea, because it's not a job that I can really take you in or show you at all. So it's in adult mental health, and the sorts of work as an OT that I'm doing is doing functional assessments. So showing the treating team how the consumer, which means the patient or the client or the person that we're working with. So typically within mental health, we refer to our clients or the person we're working with as a consumer, someone receiving or accessing mental health services rather than a patient. So when I say consumer, that's who I'm talking about. So the work that I do with consumers in the unit is doing full functional assessments that are which have been referred to OT by the treating team. And so the treating team usually consists of a consultant psychiatrist, who's the head of the treating team, a registrar, who's also a doctor, the nurse unit manager, the NUM, some other nurses on the unit attend the meetings as well, social workers, psychologists and OTs, any Indigenous liaison officers, recreation officers. So it's a really nice, well-rounded group. I'm hoping I'm not, and there might be other specialist officers depending on the specific setting you're in. So we get referrals from these meetings, usually are for full functional assessments or referring a particular consumer to a group we're running. So also run cognitive remediation training, CRT, also groups like SCIT, which is social cognition interaction training, which is, I'm pretty sure, trained specifically for people with schizophrenia, looking at social cognition, so that includes like emotions, social skills, things like that. I've really been enjoying being a part of the groups and facilitating and leading, more specifically the CRT, the Cognitive Remediation Training Group. So I've really enjoyed that, and that's looking at cognition skills. So a component of that is using a computer program, but we also have what we call bridging activities and warm-up activities that we do at the start and the end, that really tie together and link together all the things that the consumers are doing within the computer program, and then we're there alongside them whilst they are doing the computer program, helping them to problem solve and identify the different strategies that they're using that they might not be aware that they're using, or giving terminology to their strategies that they have been using, or suggesting new ones. So I've really been enjoying that. And so functional assessments, groups, also run a sensory room, and so that's introducing our sensory preferences and sensory processing to consumers in the unit, facilitating opening up the sensory room, and supporting consumers to kind of explore their sensory preferences, what helps them to be more calm, what's more alerting. So I've really enjoyed that as well, and I think they're looking to start running a sensory group, but I think I'll be leaving before they get a chance to start that, otherwise that would have been fun. And what I mean by full functional assessment, because I understand that full functional can mean different things, living in the community versus inpatient setting. So the types of assessments we're using, we're looking at living skills as if the person was living in the community, so how they would go with different things like bill paying, grocery shopping, meal preparation, things like self-care still, and there's a lot, public transport use. It's all these different things, and then we might get an idea of their cognition level. Might be using the Allen's Cognitive Screening Assessment or a mocker. So these are different cognitive screening tools that we can use. And so there are components within our assessment that allow us to make observations out in the community and actually observe meal preparation, because there's a difference between asking someone about all these areas and how they're going, and then actually seeing them do it. So you can ask someone, how do you go in the kitchen? Do you have any problems cooking, shopping, all these things? And then it's just so much more information on top of that when you actually go and have the chance to observe them, or because you can see things, you can see performance breakdowns that they might not be aware of, or they might not have wanted to tell you about. But at the end of the day, if we're getting a more accurate picture of that person's performance, then we're better able to recommend the most appropriate supports that they need. And with regards to how I'm personally going, I'm going so much better than I was when I probably last made my video. I think that change in workplace, change in role, environment, all these things, it just was a big part of how I was feeling. So far going good. Obviously a bit, anxious about this new transition again, moving again, new job, and I know it will be probably quite stressful again, but I'm excited for the new challenge. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and if not, I hope your week just gets better and better, and I really appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you.